Pterodactyl here, and I'm at Lafayette Warehouse, where they're going to be giving me some stuff, and I'm going to be giving them some stuff. Let's go in and surprise them. Pterodactyl here, bearing gifts.
Oh,
Hey,
Steve.
Your brothers are here.
He says I heard him.
Your family's here, Steve.
What's going on, man?
How y'all doing this morning?
Good.
Good about yourself.
All right, hang up them phones. We're talking. All right, now let's go get my crap.
Yeah, let's go get your crap.
Don't drop that.
I'm on you right here.
Well, check this out. They're giving me this lighted sign because they don't do the small engine anymore, and this other lighted sign, and more manuals. I already picked up one load. We got to take this, and 2 microfiche readers. This was the computers back in the day, right?
Back in the old days.
Back in the old days. This is your computer. Oh wow, look at another hidden gem. It's 2-sided. So I've already taken a bunch of manuals, which are already at the shop that we'll go over, but I'm also getting this, which is lighted. This has got a light in it. And it's got a bunch of Briggs. You know, some of you grass rats might remember these things they'd have at the auto parts store, because this is the auto parts store. And they sold small engine parts, but they got out of the small engine part of it. So they don't need this stuff anymore, and they want to get rid of it. And if I didn't want it, they were just going to throw it away. So I thought, you know what, I'll take it. Hey, yeah, come in a little more. That's good. Need a hammer.
I can go get one.
So we can lock that down. There we go. It's locked in now. Oh, here's an NWI pen, vintage, and it still writes. You got it, Mike. Okay, I got a set of shocks I ordered on will call. Who do I talk to? You don't know? Yep, on the will call for the old 98 Ford F-150. One shock broke and the other one's out of gas.
Thanks again, Taryl.
We got our best hand.
Appreciate it. Thanks again.
You're welcome. Make sure all you guys take something.
Oh yeah.
There they are. There's my babies. There's my shocks. Yeah.
It's shocking. It's shocking.
Oh yeah.
I almost forgot about that.
We got another tractor we got to look at. I can't take it, but
No, I know.
we'll look at it. There's
you
my
go.
bill. Could have bought a new truck. That's what my discount.
It is.
The truck ain't worth that much. Thanks, you guys.
You have now exceeded the value of your
Can you
vehicle.
get them a tube of Seal Glide to go with them?
What?
Seal Glide to go with them?
No lube necessary.
Type of place that we run in here.
All right, you guys. I hope you enjoy all the gifts we gave you.
Oh, we will, man.
Taryl.
You're welcome. Keep watching the videos.
Oh, we will.
And if you haven't been watching them, you better start watching them.
They are hilarious.
They want to see if I can get this Simple City running. This is the one they used to use to cut the grass around here, but now they got a lawn service. And they want to get rid of it, maybe. So first thing we got to do is put a battery in it. Because the battery's dead. Aha, I heard clicking. Let's see if it'll crank over. Woo! All right.
Now we gotta put the dinosaur juice in.
Now we got to put the dinosaur juice in. Yeah, this is all loose.
Well, it's still might need to start.
Runs pretty good.
We need some work.
It just needs to be fixed, which I think it just needs to be taken off and welded. We could do that if you guys decide to have me come back and get it, take it to the shop. But at least you know it runs.
Right. I'll let Mike know it runs.
You want me to put it back in there?
Yeah. I was trying to see what model it is. ZT 1644 Hydra.
Yeah. Look it up and see what they're going for. And then if you need me to try to sell it for you, let me know.
Let me write that down.
I got a pen, Lafayette NWI pen
I got one. Don't you worry.
from 1980 that I found in the parking lot. There's your dinner. There's your dinner. All right, now how do I get out of here? All right. All right. All right, Steve.
I will let the boss know.
Let the boss know, and
I'll get rid of that.
Thanks for everything.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming, Taryl. Appreciate it.
And you got to say, and
And
there's your dinner. Yeah, you know what to say. So that's most of the manuals and stuff I got from Lafayette Warehouse that they gave me. And there's a lot of information in there and a lot to go over, so I needed to enlist the help of my good friend, Uncle Pat, because he is a cornucopia of knowledge.
You're too kind.
And if you don't know what a cornucopia is, that's like a big horn that's full of knowledge. And that would be him.
You're too kind.
Another thing they gave me were these microfiche readers, which if you know anything about them, these are basically our computers now do all this. But this is a microfiche reader. And they both work. And I've got plenty of microfiche. This is all microfiche. And this box is full of microfiche. Now I know what you're thinking. What's a microfiche? It's not a little tiny fish. It's spelled F-I-C-H-E, not F-I-S. So I put a Lawn Boy one in here. And then you got your little, so you can focus it. Then you pull it out. You take a little card. And then there's a little plate here that says out. So you know that's where you took it out of, so you can put it back in the right spot. But if you know anything about these, back in the day, the guys wouldn't put them back in the right spot. Now, a lot of this stuff is going to be for sale that we're going over. Like these microfiche readers and all this microfiche. I want to sell all this. So if any of you grass rats out there are interested, let us know or we'll have it posted. But since this is such a big amount of product here, it's going to be kind of difficult to ship it. So if you're very interested, you're going to have to pick it up. You're going to have to come here, and then that way you can meet me and you can pick it up. But here, microfiche reader. This is how we used to look up parts back in the day. Libraries would use these. A lot of you grass rats know, but for the younger ones that are viewing, there you go. I cleaned them all up. They were kind of dirty and dusty. They've been sitting around for a long time, but they do work, and it's for sale. This is what else I got. This I think I'm going to keep. But a lot of the information in here I think we will sell. Because I think I'm going to take some of those manuals on that table and try to put them in here. Because I'm not going to sell all those manuals. Did I mention that? Those manuals we just showed you? A lot of them are going to be for sale. And we're going to post them on our website. So if you're interested in any of these manuals we're going to be showing, they could be for sale. Not all of them. Some of them I'm keeping. Well, we're going to go over all these manuals, and Pat has them bookmarked because he knows a lot about all this antique stuff, more than I do. I know how to fix it, but Pat knows how to fix it, and he knows all the history about it. That's why he's a cornucopia. You should have your own YouTube channel.
Yeah, one of these years.
And what would you call your channel?
Junk Pile 506.
And what does the 506
Well, that's where my
represent?
future potential shop's address will be,
Oh, okay.
in Strip Mine, Illinois.
I know where that is.
Yeah.
Coal City.
No, it's just kind of west of Podunk.
And here's some other stuff I got from them. This I had to buy. They didn't give me this. I bought all this. This stuff had been sitting on the shelf so long, unopened and sealed, that it actually started to evaporate. And of course, this is another snake oil, which I'm sure probably doesn't work. See? Never been opened. But evaporated. Isn't that something? Probably just through the skin of the plastic. These I'll give away to customers. They had some cans of True Fuel. This is the 4-cycle. This isn't the 2-cycle. So, that's still good. Some quarts of oil and gear oil, Peerless, branded. Gear oil, 80-90 weight. Kohler Winter Blend. It gets cold up there, eh? In Wisconsin. So we got a winter blend. Is that how they talk? Well, that's how they talk. Get it, boy, get it! Get it, boy! He's getting it. Now, these are interesting. These kits. Snow maintenance kit. And it's got a Takumish branded spark plug. And that plastic key. And that looks like some kind of packet of some more snake oil there. Snake oil in a pack. I thought it was, you know, like a towelette or something. But it's ultra fresh gasoline stabilizer. I'm willing to sell some of these. I'll keep one for display and the rest will sell. Now, some of the packages, you know, are a little brittle because they've been sitting around. So be aware of that. If you get one, it may be a little tattered. And then, this I'll just sell through my shop. Some Snow King 4-cycle 5W30. Or put it in the work truck, or we'll get rid of it. And then, of course, our Takumish display, which we turned into our Lawnmower Mysteries and Oddities Center. So let's go take a look at that. So here's our Lawnmower Mysteries and Oddities Center, Parts Center, I guess you could call it, like they called it. I'm probably going to have a new graphic made. I'll keep this old one, and I'll have a new one made. It says Lawnmower Mysteries and Oddities. And of course, we got plenty of room to add more mysteries and oddities. I'm going to get a picture frame for that, so we can have that. I'll get a picture frame for this information on this governor that we did a Lawnmower Mysteries and Oddities on. So this is where we're going to display all that. So for you grass rats that come to visit, you can check out the Lawnmower Mysteries and Oddities Center. So we're not going to go over every one of these manuals, but we do have several of them that are bookmarked because Pat found some interesting information in them. So we're going to start with this one first. I think you should probably have some kind of gloves on.
Yeah, I left my white silk gloves at home, but anyway.
All right.
This is a Lauson manual. Lauson was bought out by Tecumseh about 56, if you can believe AI and all that good stuff on the internet. And the numbers really escaped me. I didn't do much homework before I came over here. Sorry, guys. But anyway, it's just a Lauson engine catalog or parts breakdown. And there might be a date on the front of this. Okay, well, anyway, that's irrelevant. They just had some neat engines prior to their Tecumseh acquisition. P25 was just a 6 1/4. It was one of their bigger engines.
How big was that engine physically for a 5-horse engine?
Oh,
Pretty tall, like the Briggs ZZ.
yeah, it was about ZZ size, maybe about 12-horse Briggs size for, they were heavy
So
cast
probably
iron.
about what, between 16 and 20 inches tall.
At least, yeah. They were monsters for what they were.
A lot of torque, high torque,
High torque, low RPM.
horsepower, and low horsepower.
Yeah. You might have redlined around 2,600, maybe 3,000. Yeah, here we go, 3,000 redline right there. Oh, 3,600, I'm sorry, I lied. The wild thing about this engine was they used a Wyco or a Fairbanks mag, I'm not quite sure, rather than having their own ignition system.
Like a Wisconsin
Like a
engine.
Wisconsin. That was the wild thing about them. And then they used a single camshaft with 2 rockers to run the valves, which was unique. And then their little brother was the R series engine, and this is the odd duck. This was a horizontal shaft engine they laid over on its side. So you've got an oil sump and an oil pump, special intake, and you had a gearbox that ran your wheels or ran your self-propelled or whatever they had.
So you got your crankshaft down here, because it's a vertical, that you would mount a blade to. This is your power takeoff, and then this you could use, this is auxiliary. Auxiliary power. That's very odd. I've never seen an engine like that.
Now, Briggs had their layover engine, but they didn't do anything like this. Clinton had one, and Rio had one. And they were just an odd little engine. Then we get into the other V series back here. That's later in life we got to aluminum. That would have been a rotary engine for a lawnmower, or a rotary lawnmower engine, vertical shafted, 2.5 horsepower. Like I said, that's all aluminum. And this has got to be the tail end. This has got to be probably late 50s, probably after they were acquired by Tecumseh, because these were under moniker of Lauson Tecumseh not too shortly after this.
So there was a transition where they used both names,
Yeah,
and
there
then
was a
eventually
transition.
just got rid of the Lauson.
Yep, and there's your breakdowns.
Is Lauson the name of a person?
Yeah, it was John Lauson. He started out making hit and miss engines and other things back in the day. I'm going to flip back to that odd little engine here. We can go look at the breakdown, that weird gearbox on it.
So I had a little worm gear in there and another gear. And it all ran off the crankcase oil. Correct?
Yep.
And it still had that weird little camshaft.
Yeah, later engines, I did not see one in here. They also had an engine that had 2 cams, one for the intake and one for the exhaust. And I did not see one in here, but they were also neat little engines.
All right, well, let's close the book on
Yep,
this.
we're done with him. Next, we go to, there was Clinton engine stuff hiding in this one. And we have a sales brochure for buckets.
Clinton
your
replacement engines.
And there's the Screamer. There's your Screaming Wedge, your Panther. Or no, I'm sorry, that's not the Panther. That's the industrial version of the Panther.
Here's the Panther.
There's the Panther. That's the industrial version of them. That would have been on a commercial lawnmower. That would have been on your go-kart.
I had one of these on a mini bike. I put it on a mini bike because the mini bike frame I had didn't have an engine on it, but I had one of those engines. I put it on a little Indian mini bike. But it was on a go-kart, this engine. From whoever I got it from. And we've got one of them engines here. It's yours. 2 of them.
We got 2 of them here now.
They're yours, though.
Yeah, well, one's
Not
for you
mine.
and one's for me.
Oh,
So you can
okay.
recreate your youth and build a mini bike. Oh, there's that is a Panther engine on a pump, which is pretty wild. Think about it, a 2-cycle engine on a pump. That thing probably had to weigh 25 pounds, if that much. That's pretty handy.
Is that all Clinton stuff in this?
Yeah, there's all.
Tecumseh
Oh, there's a
manual?
generator. I knew I had something more in here I'd marked.
I thought it was more Tecumseh
Yeah,
stuff.
there's some other stuff hiding too. I got a bookmark way down at the bottom. Now we got your dealer display racks. This is how you would have been told to lay out your dealership back in the day. And there is your Clinton moped.
Never seen one of them until you showed me in this book.
I did not know about this either. This was a learning experience.
Something to add to the cornucopia of knowledge. You should wear like a cornucopia, like horn hat.
Ooh. It would be
We'll have to
interesting.
get you one when we do a future video.
There's the stats on it. It was private labeled for Clinton. I forget who made it. I did do a little homework on that. Oh, socks. Oops. I just moved them. Blooper. Socks. Yeah, they were part of it.
So it's German.
Yep.
And they had Clinton's new hand utility cart and dolly. Wow.
They were diversified. In case you wanted to haul your outboard around,
Oh yeah.
which Clinton made outboards.
And then you can haul wood that you cut with your Clinton chainsaw.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could use it as a garbage can or a dolly. Okay, what else is in here? Anything else?
Clinton gas cans, just in case. And we got something down here.
What did you find down here?
Let's see. We
So
had.
this, I got to put this with the Clinton stuff.
Yeah, there was something. Your kickstarts for your mini bikes on your Clinton engines.
Issued 1955, revised 65.
Man, that was the start of the mini bike rage, 65. So, yep, we're done with that one.
Okay.
All right, let's see.
Get it, boy!
He's after it.
He's getting it.
This is Power Products 2-cycle. Just another unique engine. This is a vertical, or this is a horizontal shaft by the looks of things. I don't remember why I tagged this. I got to go back and look. Just the Power Products 2-cycle. Just an interesting engine. Power Products was part of Tecumseh. And here you got Lauson Power Products. Just kind of the transition when they were in between Lauson, Tecumseh, and Power Products.
And this is from 61.
Yep. That's nothing to write home about, just a neat little engine. You've got one of those floating around here too somewhere, I believe.
I do?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's for a lawnmower.
Yeah, it's for a lawnmower, that's right. But yeah, that's pretty much all that's in that book. Just
A Dunlop lawnmower.
Dunlop, that's right.
So there's some other Tecumseh manuals here. This one I'll be willing to sell. This is just a bunch of manuals, service bulletins. These are all technician handbooks, 2-cycle, 4-cycle. There's a bunch of them in here. And then on the very end, it's got the Tecumseh Peerless transmission, transaxles, differentials. So this one, watch for this one if you're interested. Here's some more Tecumseh engine info. This is just engine information. These are not repair manuals in here. I'll get rid of this. This is more. Just information on the engines from 93, 92. And what else do we got here? Engine program. More. Get it, boy! There's something going on out there. Wait till you hear sirens. Then that cop will be getting that boy. Just more engine information and prices from 2003. And this says Lauson Mechanics Handbook. A lot of service bulletins. I may go through some of them service bulletins. If there's any interesting ones we could do, but this is on 4-stroke engines. I'll be willing to get rid of this. So again, watch for what we're going to be putting out there. This is from 74. I'll get rid of this one. Got all kinds of, again, transaxles in here, starter parts, short blocks, carburetors, power products, horizontal and vertical, and priceless. All right, now we're going to move on to the Briggs stuff that he's got marked in this.
Well, right out
here.
the gate, if you were a dealer back in the day, this got a little beat up, but if you were a dealer back in the day, this is how you formatted your Yellow Pages ad or your Sunday paper ad or whatever. It's just their standard issue print. Imprint name and dealer there, or name and address, and you got other put that off to the side, doesn't get wrecked any more than it already is. Poor little guy. All right, we got some weird just Nelson muffler stuff here, but
It's pronounced Muffkins.
Muffkin, you know. This is the engine that Slippers uses on his Bolins behind us. That is a weird little engine. That was one of Briggs's first vertical shaft, aluminum, higher horsepower, like 5 3/4, 6.5, somewhere around there. Note, air vane governor still. Everybody else is running mechanical. Well, there's only a couple of years they ran an air vane governor on those engines. They went over mechanical.
Because when he was doing the rebuild on that engine, we had a hard time finding parts because we didn't have this in some of the manuals that I already had, some of the old Briggs manuals.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in this book. When you're a nerd like me on this, a lot of obscure stuff.
What's the other one you got bookmarked? What's that about?
This is
It's 8?
8HF.
Never heard of that.
Oh. Another shout out to Buckets. This is that layover engine that Briggs did, similar to the, we're going to spin you 90 degrees here, similar to what they did with the Clintons and everybody else. They made a layover engine. So you've got an oil pump, an oil sump up front for your rotary engine on your cast iron Briggs. So this predates your lightweight high-speed aluminum. That's an actual quote from the Briggs catalog. And you're running an air vane governor, no mechanical governor. It's just a weird little engine. It was only around for a few years. Get it, boy, get it. Now we got a service bulletin here about centrifugal pumps being cracking things on the aluminum cylinder engines in '59, which is pretty early aluminum stuff. This is like probably in the first year of production, but they had a thrust load cracking things and causing an unnoticed oil leak to develop, and then shorts out the ignition system. I won't get into great detail. I'm just looking at some of the ages on here. In '66, they offered you now rewind and wind up starter assemblies are now available for all these new, all these engines. Before that, you were wrapping a rope. And camshaft breakage, crankshaft breakage, sorry. That was on a Clark litter vac.
Oh yeah, on those vacs.
Yep, those vacs, the Clark litter vac.
That was from '66.
Yep.
They probably couldn't take the force of that big fan on the end of it, so the crankshafts were busting off.
And we got your
Because they were
upgrades.
stepped.
Yep.
Stepped crankshafts, which made it weaker. All right, next page.
And this is last but not least, this woman, Briggs Stratton, jumped into the official snow engine in '68. There's your 5-horse and there's your 8-horse.
Probably after the blizzard of '67
Probably, yeah.
here in, well, they're in Wisconsin.
Yep.
And that was in Chicago.
And then Tecumseh was getting on board with their Snow King engines. They started enclosing the muffler to make a heat shield and keep the carburetor heated up so you wouldn't get frost. The old letter series, Model A's. A lot of neat engines in here.
You got another paper clip.
Yeah,
down
this
there.
is going to be the Model U.
You and you are.
I don't know what's more rare, this engine or this manual. But the Model U had a very interesting fuel tank. Looks like a propane tank almost, but they had 2 fuel lines. One was air and one was fuel. And somebody's going to yell at me on the keyboards on this one because I'm going to get it wrong. But as I recall, this was on a David Bradley, and they wanted to have no fuel starvation when you were on a slope or whatever. If you had a tiller and something had an attitude when you're using it, this offered no fuel starvation. That was their idea why they did that.
So you would have to pressurize it.
It's self-pressurized, I believe, with crankcase vacuum. I am not really.
Well, that looks like it
Smart.
might be a Schrader valve there.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that
Looks like it
worked.
might have a couple of Schrader valves.
Yeah.
Unless that's the fittings for these tubes.
You know, one of them was a check valve that would be used on like WMIs and WMB type fuel tank. I'm not an expert on this engine. I'm not going to try to play one. I'm going to stop right now. But it's an odd little engine, and it's.
Have you ever seen one?
I've seen a few. I've had a few slip through my fingers over the years, but if you can find one, they're one to get. They're just odd.
If you're a Briggs and scrap 'em
If you're a Briggs and scrapping guy, or
you may want to look for the elusive U or UR.
yep,
Because
Well-
you are looking for one.
yep, UR had the gear
You
reduction
got
on
a
it.
U or a UR? UR what? That's the engine name. UR. UR what? You are wasting my time.
And then
What else?
we had a Model W in here too.
Right there.
We got WI.
W and WA.
Yep, there we go. And that's the thing. We had WMI, WMB. Those were washing machine engines. Well, we had the W and the WI. WI was a huge engine like a ZZ. It had a different carburetor set up on it, detachable jug. It's a 3-piece setup there. You had head, jug, and cylinder, and oil pan. Had an oil pump in it. This is another unique engine. They don't run around in herds, but when you see her of a Model W, and it's not the little guy, this is actually a big guy. Yeah, I'm small engine nerding out here. I just figured I'd show it to you. This book kind of speaks for itself if you're a snowmobile guy.
Did you know Kohlers made 2-stroke engines, grass rats? Because they did.
They made singles and twins
And triples.
and triples. And I had a Gilson snowmobile that had a Kohler twin in it.
There's a 2-cylinder. Years ago, a friend of mine had one of those Argo 6-wheelers, and it had a Kohler twin-cylinder engine in it, 2-cycle. And I had to find a crankcase seal for it because it wouldn't run because I had no crankcase pressure because the seal was bad. Somewhere in here, I thought it showed all.
I think there was in the very back they had the triple.
They showed all the little pictures of them. I should have bookmarked it. Is it in the back?
Yeah, it was in the very 1972.
There they
There
are.
they are.
So there's a triple, 2-smoker, a couple of twins, and a single. I'm sure some snowmobiles had them because they were in Wisconsin. Look at these guys at the dealer. They're all bundled up. Wintertime.
And here's your price sheet. For 1970. Ooh, that was big bucks back then.
Kohler cares. That's back when they cared. Now they don't care. Because they're turning out garbage. And they don't even have the same name. What is it now?
Relco.
Relco, which is this Kohler all jumbled.
They sell Ronco products now.
Ronco.
Yeah, K331, odd little engine.
You ever hear of a K331? Grass rat? Get it! What's so different about this K331? It's another rare
Kohler engine. I would have to go back and check because I forgot the statistics on it, why it's so neat, but it was just, there was 2 engines in that family and they just kind of stood alone. They were probably for a private vendor. Maybe a Sears or somebody. Well, Sears was mostly using Lauson, or Tecumseh. But private vendor maybe wanted their own special specification engine, or maybe this just predates the K series that we know of. I just don't remember. I apologize. We had the 482, the 662.
and a 331.
Ah, I remember now. They were a heavier duty, long life engine for gen sets. They were like twice as heavy as any Kohler out there.
Yeah, it was like beefier.
It was beefier, thicker casting walls, thicker everything. Yeah, it has more cylinder fins on the head than a normal Kohler does. That's what it
keep it
was. It was a
cool.
gen set engine.
Now I've got a ton of Kohler manuals over here.
Well, we got this one too, your 2-cycle service manual. Anyway, I'm back.
Yep, 2-cycle service manual. I'm willing to sell these. All these, they're on Magnums. They're on Courage Command, Triad, overhead cam. Now this is on the Aegis, or whatever they call it. In case you don't know what that is, that's Kohler's water-cooled engine, liquid-cooled. Like the kind of sucky. Did you know they made a water-cooled grass rats? With the radiator, they made it in a horizontal and a vertical. Now this one I'm probably going to keep.
And the wild thing was they didn't have a fan belt. They actually used the fan cooling air in the radiator. It was self-contained, I guess you could say.
Not like the kind of sucky that's got a belt.
Yep.
Kohler engines, born to run. Born to run you out of money when they fail. Here's a manual that's got all their specialized service tools in it. I'll be willing to get rid of this. They're getting it today, boy. There's something going on out there. Some kind of car show or something. The Aegis one I'm probably going to keep. But there's plenty of manuals. Look for them on our website. Now we're into ignitions.
You had a lot of manufacturers made their own ignitions, plus they also contracted out. Phelan made a lot of ignition for a lot of places. You Sears guys will recognize this setup. That's the Sears solid state setup. There's your stator, your solid state, your regulator, and all that. This appears to be a Kohler system, maybe, I'm not quite sure. But somewhere there's probably a cross-reference in this book that I didn't find yet. that
Well,
tells
this
you who
book
fits
isn't going to
what.
be for sale. I'm keeping
Yeah,
this
there's
one
a lot of useful information.
because I mess with a lot of different ignition systems.
And when I say useful information, you can take these part numbers and you can eBay search knowing what you need. If you can't find the Briggs or the Tecumseh one anymore, you might find it under a new old stock Phelan somewhere.
I'll tell you, this would be a job in itself to try to scan all this stuff and put it on the inner screen.
And Repco and Phelan, they were buying each other out back in the day. I'm not sure when that happened, but somebody out there will keyboard cowboy it, they know. Tell me I'm wrong.
They were in Massachusetts. That's my poor English, New England accent. Get in the car. We got to go get something for the lawnmower. Get in the car. Got to go buy some Earl for the lawnmower. Get a set of points for the Phelan. Is that how you guys say it out there in New England? So you're not getting this one. You ain't getting any of these ignition ones.
Same way, Presto Light, Wyco, manuals. And we just got list prices in there, which is kind of neat. Then we go back
You
here.
got something else bookmarked there.
Yeah, back here, it's just
What do you got?
contact sets, coils.
Universal coil kit.
Yep. Presto Light small engine tune-up parts. This is, you small engine guys that are into the antiquers will probably recognize everybody on this cover. And this page in here, you're going to have by manufacturer. Continental, Fairbanks made their own engine, Fairbanks made their own ignition. You got Wyco Mags, Wisconsin. Application guide.
And where was Presto Light?
Uh,
Does it say on here?
I forget where Presto Light was out of.
Toledo, Ohio.
Okay. Yeah, somewhere Wyco and Presto Light merged. I'm not sure who's in charge of what anymore. I've seen some Presto Light stuff out there here and there.
But this, I'm pretty sure this catalog covers everything
Yeah, there's
other than just small
industrial.
engine.
Yeah, there's industrial alternator parts in there. There's some starter parts in there.
Caterpillar, it says here.
Yeah. There's your Cat's Head pony motors back in the day.
Service tools. I'm hanging on to that one too.
You show us the ones you want to get rid of, Taryl.
Well, we just heard from a little birdie, and I won't mention his name, but his initials are Gary, and he's in the back hiding right now. But Repco stands for R.E. Phelan Company. And Pat said that he had a brain fart, and that boy, it was a stinky brain fart too.
It's that fine education I
All
got.
right, what's next?
It's this Honda.
Honda crap. All right, well, there's one interesting thing in here. This is mainly service bulletins, and I did find one in here that was kind of interesting. On a GX 340. Now, this is back in 2002. It appears that they had some engine blocks that were seeping oil from a crack between these two fins. But yeah, Honda seems to have their fair share of
Oops.
oops like anybody else. There's quite a few service bulletins in here. Like this many. And then the procedure is to replace the block, which I'm sure most people didn't. You could ask for a goodwill. I think it says in there somewhere about the warranty part of it. Normal warranty applies. Any repair performed after warranty expiration may be eligible for goodwill consideration. But you got to contact the tech line of your district service manager. You must request consideration and receive a decision before starting the work, which is a bunch of language for they're not going to cover it. So yeah, you were going to throw this somewhere? Mm-hmm. Oh, right over here in the garbage.
Yeah, it's, Honda.
Want to make a lot of these Honda guys mad? That'll make them mad. We're just joking. Jeez, take it easy. All right, move on to the next one. What do you got behind you there?
Oh, we got Clinton. Oh my goodness. Let me reposition myself here. Where's my cripple stick? Oh, pardon me.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, time out. Enjoy a commercial break.
Now we're moving on to more Clinton. I've got 3 of those Clinton books. This Clinton stuff is kind of hard to find, so I don't think I'll be getting rid of these. And there's some service bulletins, so maybe this winter go through all these service bulletins, and we might do some more service bulletin classics if I can find some interesting ones in there.
Got your Clinton Outboard Owner's Manual.
So I got a couple of these Clinton manuals, and this one, there's
something.
a couple of bookmarks in here that you did, Pat.
Let's see, we had the price list in here, but there was something in here I wanted to see.
There's another clip way down
That's
below.
why. Oh, golly. The A400. That's another Clinton 2-cycle. That was the industrial version of the Panther. That you'd have found on real lawnmowers.
So this is a 4-horse.
Yep.
Where the other Panther is what, 2 1/4, 2 1/2?
2 1/4, something like that, yeah. This was just a
Bigger bore.
bigger bore, beefier engine.
And it had needle bearings. Because I know some of them older 2-smokers had regular, like, inserts.
Yep.
And then they all started slowly changing them to needle bearings. I think there were even kits, weren't they, to retrofit on older engines? You could get rid of those.
You could
bearings,
buy the special rod and the bearings, and the crank would be okay. But
as long as you didn't.
those were always such a picnic, packing those little bearings inside them little holders with grease and hoping like heck everybody stayed put.
And you got them all in there the right
Yeah.
amount. Well, you use a little grease.
Because when you got all done, the last thing you want to do is see one needle laying on the bench.
So this Clinton stuff, it's always hard to find information on and part numbers and.
Another engine lineup.
Got one of them somewhere. The 4-stroke.
I believe that was their snow engine as well, because it's got the heater stack on it.
Yeah. Sure, there was a few manufacturers back in the day that, because this is from 1960,
Yeah.
that probably had that Clinton on a snowblower. They were in Iowa. They weren't a Wisconsin company.
And you got that.
And then I've got 5 of these. There's 6, but I'm going to keep one. And we're going to sell the other 5, and I know these are going to go fast. There is a part number on there. And they came in a pack of 10. But this is interesting. I know these will go because it's got all the carburetors in here. And it's got breakdowns of them and part numbers. Mainly for, looks like a lot of the K-series ones. Gary says he still uses one of these for reference. Now, I don't know what year this was from, 92. Issued in 89 and revised and mailed in 92. But again, it's all the for like the Magnums and the K series. Nothing really to do with the newer 2-barrel ones, but still good information in there. And then I've got all these technician seminar updates. These are all to come-ish. I don't know how we're going to sell these. Maybe we'll just sell them all. Or if we'll sell them individually. And all this to come-ish. Technicians update seminars. And I've also got a bunch from Kohler. Here's a whole bunch of Kohler service update seminars. So when you would go to the service school, everybody in the class would get one of these. And then it would talk about issues and things that they were having. This is an accessory profit program. Get it, boy!
I went to that one.
You did?
Yeah.
Back in 2012, 2013? So these are all service programs except for that one.
That's actually an oddball right there. That was their inline air or liquid cooled inline engine.
Is that a diesel?
I don't remember if it was diesel
I don't
or
see
gas.
any wires on it.
I remember if that was diesel or gas. I forgot they did that.
I don't see any spark plug wires,
Yeah.
or that might be a diesel.
Yeah, Mitsubishi and Briggs tried that with a 3-cylinder stationary power plant for a while.
Yeah, diesel. Kohler diesel. And here's the crappy Courage single, XT, Courage twin. There's the Aegis series. I've got all these Tillotson carburetor manuals with all kinds of information. Now you just go on the inner screen and just buy that cheap Chinese knockoff if it's available. But here's on the HL series, which is on a lot of the old chainsaws. I've got all this. Tillotson. I've got some Zama. 2009, 2011. This is all Walbro. Whole stack of Walbro. Here's Esca boat motors. This is all boat motors. I'll be willing to get rid of this because I don't mess with boat motors. You want an angry customer, get into fixing boat motors. Because when you fixed it and it broke down in the middle of the lake after you fixed it, that guy is hot enough to model. Strike a pose. I'm mad. So what do we got here, Pat?
That's an old Zenith carburetor book. It's got
Wow.
some really neat stuff in it, for me anyway.
You know what it looks like to me?
An old
Looks
book?
like that book that was in that movie, Evil Dead, the Necronomicon.
Okay. Anyway,
It's not cursed, is it?
I
It
don't
looks
think
like
so.
it is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably old enough to vote twice. We just got a Marvel Schlebbler to Zenith interchange, and I'm not sure who went where with Zenith Schlebbler and Marvel and all that stuff. I know during World War II, everybody was sharing patents and making stuff to spec, and there's somebody out there who will correct me. I can guarantee you that. Just, put your hate in the comment section. But just crossovers.
Anything else in there?
Yeah, just some really neat graphics in here. Some different carburetor setups. But we go back here. You got your Zenith fuel filter elements for cars, marine, whatever. Fuel filters here. There's some tractor stuff in here because I'm into tractors too. Let's see, I think that was further back here. Nope.
Well, I'm gonna have to think about if I want to let this one go.
Anyway, there is some tractor stuff in here for carburetors on Here we go.
Oh yeah, there's a guy
Tractor
on a
carburetors, yep. Their whole thing was no matter what your machine was or your fleet was, there was a Zenith carburetor for you.
Same people that made the TVs.
Not
Zenith.
sure. I don't know if the quality went in before the name went on or not. I'm not sure. But back in the day, if you had a Massey and Alice and something else on the property, they wanted you to standardize. So they've got a crossover chart here.
Yeah, here's Alice.
Yeah.
Avery.
Tells you who does what. I just banged the microphone. Sorry, guys.
Replacement procedure. Service carburetors. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to put some thought in if I want to get rid of this, and if I do, I'm sure you're probably the one that wants it.
Well, yeah, just in case I want to change a carburetor on one of my old tractors, you know.
Zenith Bulletin.
Yep.
Well, it looks like the Necronomicon.
So you need some more duct tape.
I'm gonna have. That sounds like a convention. Are you going to the Necronomicon?
And we got that one book on the back shelf back there too. We got
some kind of sucky. And also in that microfiche, there's a bunch of kind of sucky microfiche in there. So this looks like it's more of a marketing book. So I'll be willing to sell this. Sales bulletin, sales program, marketing, advertising, engine line,
There we go.
engines. This is more of just what they have, but I'm sure there's people that are interested in this stuff.
And there's our version of the Aegis engine.
That's kind of Sucky's water cooled. That's on a lot of John Deere's, horizontal and vertical. So I'll be willing to get rid of this. And then we've got a big giant master service parts manual.
It's overflowing with knowledge.
The knowledge is just jumping out. I'll be willing to get rid of this. This has got all your engines, your service manuals,
I mean, really, you don't need it because they never break down. So
all kind of engines. From the push mower engines all the way up to their water cooled workshop manuals. Just a ton of stuff here.
yeah, you got that Murray book back there. Just
I got more than one Murray book. Now this is interesting because I know how hard it is to find some of this Murray stuff if you don't have a book with part numbers. Because I got people that come in and we try to look up their model and there's no information on it. It's like, I wish you had a book, because if we had a part number, we could see if the part's still available. But now that Briggs and Stratton owns Murray, I'm sure they're doing away with a lot of the old parts. That seems to be the trend now with Briggs and Stratton, since they've got bought and they're restructuring. That company that took them over is thinning out their line. This is all Murray stuff. Push mowers, rear engine riders, lawn tractors. We don't see too many of these Murrays anymore.
Few
But
and far
hey,
between.
I'll be willing to get rid of this Murray stuff. Who knows, that might be the next hot mower for people to start collecting. Service bulletins. This is some dashboard cracking, cracks developing in the lower console area. This results in unsatisfactory customer operation. Yeah, and an unhappy customer. Install console reinforcement kit. File warranty for $15. When was this?
87.
1987. Here's a Craftsman AYP service manual, quick reference, wiring schematics, charging systems. There's all kinds of stuff in here, which I'm sure I'd be willing to get rid of. Just think, they were going to throw all this in the garbage. I'm going to hang on to this Hydra Gear one. This is Aladdin blades. Remember Aladdin mower blades?
I do.
I don't know if anybody would want this because they're not even in business anymore.
No, but it's good reference material. Might be able to find one on eBay with a part number for an oddball lawnmower.
Or maybe somebody's got a bunch of Aladdin blades and like to know what they fit. They could buy this and maybe know what they fit, and then they would be able to sell the blades they got. So I'd be willing to get rid of this. And then this I'm keeping. This is all Comet clutch stuff. This is all information on Comet clutches. I'm going to keep those. And then last but not least, since W is at the end of the alphabet, we've got all this Wisconsin. Here's a whole bunch of Wisconsin stuff. 2 big, giant, thick binders.
Yeah, I worked at a marina one summer, and we had a bunch of Wisconsin engines, and we never had a boat drift away with those around.
Because they're boat anchors.
Yep. Never lost a boat with a Wisconsin engine near it.
So this pile here is also Wisconsin Robin. And there's a ton of manuals and stuff in here, but again, I think a lot of this stuff isn't even available. Even if you had the part numbers.
I think Makita bought them out, and I think Whacker's got their fingers in it too, and then all the knockoffs are modeled after those.
These are all Wisconsin Robin manuals. Look at every model you could think of that start with E. E. You might want to keep them, Taryl. What if somebody comes in with a Wisconsin Robin engine and they want it fixed? And I'll tell them, yeah, good luck with that. Start kicking rocks, because I ain't working on it. See how crotchety you get in your old age? Right, Gary?
Right.
Gary agrees. So I'll get rid of all this Robin stuff. I think I've got a brand new, a vertical Wisconsin engine. Brand new, never been ran. Vertical for like a mower, like a commercial mower.
I got one on a snapper.
Well, there you have it, grass rats. Lots and lots of information here. A lot of it for sale. So go to our website, check it out. You know, our web store where we sell all the Taryl apparel and stuff, like this shirt and this hat, this spark plug necklace, and some of these manuals. Unless Pat's taking them all, I know he wants them all.
I can live without that Honda one. And the Kawasaki.
He's not a fan of Honda.
I've got a couple, I'll admit it. I've got a couple John Deeres too.
I've got their cars and I've got their motorcycles. I'm just not too crazy about their outdoor power equipment.
Never was a GX 160 fan.
Don't get me wrong, good products. The problem I'm having is getting parts and getting parts at a good price, at a reasonable price. But a lot of discontinued parts, and I'm sure it's only going to get worse. But yeah, they're decent Hondas, just hard to work on sometimes when you can't get the part to fix it.
True.
Well, again, there you have it. Follow me with your old shop manuals. Come on, Gary, follow me. He's going to Roselawn. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, And as always, there's your dinner. Woo! Manuals for sale. Come and get them. Manuals for sale. Manuals for sale. Maybe there's a grass rat out there that'll just offer me some money for all of them. He just wants them all. I'll do that. Well, except for the ones I'm keeping.